Senator Tim Scott, chairman of the Banking Committee, and one of the authors of the legislation. It's been a while, Senator. It's good to have you on this morning. You know,
thank you very much. Good to be with y'all.
The scariest thing for some people is bipartisan and 90 votes and Senator Elizabeth Warren, and that immediately has certain people in this in the environment we're in this country right now saying, "What are you doing, Senator? Can you sell it for?"
Yeah, when President Trump and Elizabeth Warren and the Senate majority Republicans can all come to the same place on a housing bill, what it says is you put partisan politics aside and you ask yourself, what is one of the most profound issues impacting the American people? My mother became a first-time home owner at 38. Today, it's 40 years old. We all see the pain and the misery the average person is going through in this country. And I got to tell you, solving that problem requires us to have a bipartisan coalition. The good news is the bill is absolutely center right. We solve problems by cutting red tape. We solve problems by focusing on local jurisdictions and giving them more incentives to produce more housing and make it more affordable. If we do it right, we don't understand in Washington how to solve a problem in Greenwood, South Carolina. We have to let Greenwood, South Carolina solve that problem. So we put carrots and sticks. Getting Elizabeth Warren to say we're going to take money away from jurisdictions that do not produce more housing and give more money to jurisdictions was an important part of the equation. We thank Senator John Kennedy for that part of the bill. So every member of the Banking Committee had an opportunity to invest their time, their energy, and their priorities into this legislation, making it a bipartisan win, but more importantly, a win for the American people who desperately want to experience their version of the American dream. That's usually home ownership.
Senator, what are the prospects for the House? And I won't go into the Wall Street Journal's op-ed
Yes.
page. I don't know if you saw it today. They said, why do Republicans want to provide a down payment for Ms. Warren and fellow progressives to expand Washington control over housing? But I think some House members might want some. I think Senator Majority Leader Thune also said, in the current form, it may not be viable in the House. What do they want? What kind of little tweaks could be made to make it more palatable?
Well, the House passed their bill 399 to 1, and many of the provisions that they have 25 basic provisions in their legislation. We've taken 20 of the 25 provisions and embedded them in our 21st century road to housing. We actually renamed the bill because the House bill was so good. So we took the combination. Our bill was fantastic. Their bill was good. Putting those two together, we have the bicameral approach to housing. I think one of the things we're going to have to do is take a look at some of the priorities that the House wanted, especially the Freedom Caucus, which had nothing to do with housing. They couldn't put it in their bill, so we've airdropped it in, which was the central bank digital currency was a major issue, not a housing issue, but a major issue that they wanted airdropped in. We were able to include that ban for 5 years and put it into the housing bill. So we think we've given the sweeteners necessary. Obviously, the president said in his State of the Union, his sweetener was the large institutional investors ban. We've tried our very best to carve that down a bit so that we could have it as a part of the bill that passes, and he's willing to sign it. So what he says during the State of the Union, I take him seriously. We have that part in the bill as well.
But he said he won't sign anything until SAVE gets done. That's the latest thing we've heard. What do you make of that?
Yeah, listen, Joe, you and I should both agree. Frankly, everyone in the studio should agree. When you have 80+% of Americans, black ones, white ones, Asians, Hispanics, Native Americans, mixed kids, all say the same thing. Voter ID, common sense. When the vast majority of every demographic in this country comes to the same conclusion that Save America Act should be passed, we should pass it. Only thing standing in our way, Democrats at this point. I'm hopeful that we'll find a path forward on the Save America Act.
You need 60 votes, though, I think.
Absolutely.
Never going to happen. In this talking filibuster, I think we had a senator in New Jersey talk for 25 hours, and he was just getting warmed up. That's not going to work, I don't think, would it?
Well, you know, it does actually would require people to not sit in their desks or stay in their offices. Come to the floor and hold the floor. I think the talking filibuster would actually improve comity in our chamber and require us to be present. That might pull some Democrats off the sidelines and get them to vote for this bill. Because at the end of the day, this is about voter integrity, and every demographic in the country, Joe, supports it. Why not do common sense, make America proud?
Hey, Senator, while we have you here, I was just curious, given your role on this committee, is Jay Powell going to be testifying, anytime soon? I ask because, the Federal Reserve Act mandates that he testify on or around February 20th. We're now on March 11th.
Yeah, listen, I had a conversation with Jay about his testimony. I recommended that he come before the committee. We had it scheduled for February the 11th. They declined to come. We could compel them to come. At this point, he is more concerned about the criminal proceeding, and I get that. At the end of the day, what I've said, Andrew, is that when he was before the committee, he definitely was unprepared. I think he was woefully unprepared, but he did not commit a criminal act. When he was before the committee, I was asking the questions that is the basis of the inquiry. So I believe that he was wrong, but not creating any criminal activity. Therefore, I hope that the suit goes away. That would allow for us to move very quickly to get Kevin Warsh as the next chairman of the Federal Reserve.
Do you believe the suit will go away? And is there any update in terms of conversations you might have had with Senator Tillis, of course, who's going to, or has said that he will, upend things until and unless that happens as it relates to Kevin Warsh?
Yeah, I had a good conversation with Tom yesterday. He was thankful for my statement. I think it's been helpful, number one. Number two, I believe that the head prosecutor has been changed as well. I think that's a fact. I believe that to be true. And number three, Tom is a big fan, frankly, of Kevin Warsh. So that proceeding going away allows for us to get the Fed fully functioning and back on target. We have some really important issues that we need to focus on, and the Federal Reserve should be a part of that.
Yep. And so just in terms of timing, when would you imagine there'd be hearings on the Kevin Warsh appointment?
We got the final paperwork from the administration just a week or so ago. So we're now in the process of looking at our calendar and getting him on board as soon as possible. We can start the hearing process as soon as possible from my perspective. And then Tom Tillis, I think, will be a part of the yays on the committee. So I'm excited about getting him started.
Do you know what Democrats want to do DHS? Do you know?
I don't think anybody knows. I don't think anybody knows. I mean, listen, here's what we know for sure. The talking point of ICE is just a talking point. ICE has been funded essentially through 2029. So holding up the Department of Homeland Security in the midst of a conflict with Iran, seeing some of the domestic activity that we've seen recently is just insane from my perspective. Homeland Security needs to be funded. It needs to be funded immediately. To every Democrat listening to this show, please do the job you were elected to do. Protect America first. That is a core requirement of being a member of Congress. I would simply say this. Once again, I want to reinforce this point. ICE has been funded through 2029. So anyone who suggests that they're holding up Department of Homeland Security to keep ICE from getting their money, they already have their money. Who doesn't have a paycheck right now? The TSA folks who are trying to keep our airports and our air travel safe. We saw 4-hour lines throughout Texas, Houston, Dallas, and all around the country. Get the job done. Pay people who are doing their jobs and simply want to do their jobs while being paid. Some of these folks, Joe, Andrew, Becky, are working paycheck to paycheck, and it is a negative, devastating impact that is unnecessary for the political fight that is about a point, not making a difference, because ICE is funded for the next 4 years.
All right, Senator, thank you. Good to have you on this morning.
Thank you all.
See you again.
Look forward to it. Appreciate it.